Okay, if I can have everybody's attention. This is a packed group today. Woo woo. What a great way to end a very busy week and a beautiful day to boot, right? Welcome to the May Student of the Month. I had to think about that. Where am I? What time is it? My name is Jennifer Ulix. I'm the Student Activities Director, and we are here to celebrate our seniors for their accomplishments, and we're going to find out in just a minute why they were nominated for Student of the Month. We ask teachers and administrators and counselors to nominate students, and we don't give them particular criteria for which to nominate, so it's very unique to each individual, and you're going to find out in just a moment why they're receiving this award. So thank you to those staff members who took the time to recognize our seniors. This is bittersweet, I'm sure, for the parents and grandparents and for the students. And students know that this is a super special honor because there are 500 seniors and there's 14 of you in this room right now. So it is a very special honor. I would like to also thank Michelle Jones. She takes our photographs today. Thank you to Jack. He is the owner of our local Domino's Pizza, and he provides our students with a free extra large pizza. So you guys get to go home with a coupon. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. And he does. Thank you for your support all year long, Jack. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Wildcat Productions. They are filming our program today, and you will be receiving a DVD copy of today's ceremony, so you can forever look at it and giggle. Like 10 years from now, you'll be like, what was I wearing? What was my hair doing? Similar to what we do when we look at our pictures. So you will be able to have that as a keepsake. In your goodie bag, which you'll receive today, there is the nomination and the write-up from each teacher. So you have that as a keepsake as well. It's always nice to hear the presentation, but it's also in written form in the program in your packet, as well as some other trinkets and things. So thank you very much for coming today, and Dr. Scott's going to be our MC today. All right.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I was scooting over from a meeting at the district, and I'm getting these texts in my purse, and it's Mrs. Ulix going, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm in the parking lot. I would not miss the last Student of the Month." And I know many students will ask me, how do you get to be Student of the Month? So go seniors, last one, senior year, you did it. You figured it out. The cool thing is I won't ask you, but many of you have probably been Student of the Month before. And when your teachers come up here, they also say, oh my goodness, there's 3 more of my students I could have nominated for Student of the Month. That kind of thing tends to happen here. I also wanted to say to parents, we get your students when they're 14, 15 years old, and we know that so much is developed before then. So we thank you for the students you share with us for 4 years, your children, because you've set them up for success here, and we're only finishing. We're only taking them from third base home. So thank you. You deserve the award here today, too. It is such a great way to end a Friday. I usually find myself at some point in this ceremony laughing, like a gut laughter, and sometimes pushing a little tear out of my eye. So the teachers will do a nice job here today, as they always do, sharing with you why they selected your son or daughter for this special award. So without further ado, we'll begin today with, and there's always so many changes, so I'm looking down to make sure I get it right. We're going to have Mr. Thompson introducing Gabriel.
I'm a little shocked because I've never been first in the 75 times I've done this. So I really don't know what to say. First of all, this was not a good hair day for me, so the DVD is not going to look real good. But I'm extremely happy to nominate Gabriel, or Gabe, as we call him in class. I have to say, when you look through the list and you're trying to find out who should I nominate? Then after you find a person, you look at another place to find out if they've been nominated for Student of the Month. And I have to say, I was actually almost didn't look to see if Gabe had been nominated before, or wasn't going to nominate, because I figured, oh, he's got to be nominated. He's such a great kid. There's no way this kid's never been nominated in 4 years. And sure enough, I found out he had not been. And I was actually shocked, but I was happy too, because now I get the chance to nominate him. And one thing about Gabe is he's very vocal. He talks all the time. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't say much at all. And I have a feeling he's very quiet. He's a hard worker. He's what I would call a quiet leader. He's not one that's going to come up and let people know that he's the leader of this group, or he's going to take leadership here. He basically sits back, and if it's needed, he'll step up and be the leader. If it's not needed, he'll let somebody else lead, and he'll help the project be successful. And that's how he's been this whole year. He's in my Project Lead the Way Principles of Engineering class, which is more of a mechanical engineering class, and they do a lot of projects with groups. And right now they're doing a marble sorter where they're trying to create a machine to separate 4 different marbles into 4 different containers. And this one, I believe you've taken kind of the lead on this one, right? And he's actually leading it and doing a great job. I think he's writing the programs, programming it, so because it's kind of like a robotics system too. So he's writing the program for it. He's working with his partner to make sure it's successful. And I've been very impressed with how he's done this. And it's always, there are some kids that always want to lead all the time. He's not one of those kids. But if it's necessary and his group needs it, he's always willing to lead. And that's why I nominated Gabe as Student of the Month for the final month of his senior year. Congratulations. Now we get a picture.
Enjoy that pizza. That sounds interesting, a marble sorter. I have to come down and see those. Next we have Miss Holtzford, and she's introducing Carol.
So I'm looking around. Oh gosh, I'm too close. I'm looking around, and you're right. I could have nominated, I think, most every senior here that I know in this room. So, but I'm glad you're all here, and so this is a nice honor. I have something prepared. I would love to like break out in a rap or something like that. I'm a huge fan of Hamilton, and I know I have some Hamilton fans out there. I wish that I could do that. I can't do that. But I did write something up in that program, but I thought I could be a little bit more creative than just writing in a program. So Carol is in my AP government class. And this is how Carol contributes to AP government. A, amazing. Amazing that you can keep up with all your classes and manage a 6 a.m. spin class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. P, punctual. Punctual to second hour AP Gov. Even when I'm not, because I have to walk almost a quarter mile from the pause room all the way to my corner room upstairs. G, glow. You have an infectious spirit that brightens a room. O, open-minded. You will listen to both sides of an argument or policy dispute and then determine the best approach for yourself. V, vibrant. You have a level of energy that you give to your pursuits, and it shows. E, engaged. Listening mostly, but when Carol speaks, I know it'll be good. R, resilient. How else to explain taking 5 or so AP exams? N, nice. Very, very nice. Did I mention she's nice? M, motivated, to do her best in whatever she does. E, exemplary. Her work ethic is beyond reproach. N, a natural-born leader through the example she sets for all of us. And finally, T, I think I spelled it right, talented in all she does, and I'm certain that that talent will carry her far. Carol.
You know, Amy, that has the potential to be a great rap song. So I want you, Carol, to hold her to it. I'm going to have her rap that in class by the end of the week, okay? Next, we have Mrs. Brown introducing Emily.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to nominate Emily as Student of the Month for the Physical Welfare Department. She's a member of my Advanced Level Dance 3 class, and she's a wonderful student, very passionate about dancing and about getting involved, and very excited to come to class and learn. Emily entered my class this fall as a transfer student from out of district, and she walked in to the Advanced Level class here at LHS. And she was really, truly a breath of fresh air for our class. The culture of dance is, different from place to place, and Emily came in with her own unique perspective on dance, and she shared that with the students in my class. And that's one of, I think the most exciting things is when the students in my class get to broaden their horizons and learn new things. So she was a great inspiration for my students. She has choreographed 4 pieces this year, whether as the sole choreographer or as a collaborator. And let me tell you, choreographing is a very hard task. You got to figure out how to put your own expression together to make sense to you, and then you have to get others to buy into it. And so she really brought people together, and she stood by herself and what was important to her, and she has produced some beautiful work for our performances. She's taken on extra responsibility this year with working with me personally on a piece for our upcoming orchestra show, so she's been involved not only in the classroom, but also in the extracurricular areas of dance as well. So Emily, thank you so much for coming to LHS. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and thank you for all that you've brought to my class. Congratulations.
Orchestra shows next Thursday and Friday, right? Or is it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Thursday, Friday. So don't miss it. You can see some of Emily's numbers. Next, we have Mrs. Zhao, and she's introducing Lucy.
Well, I have to read. Last time, I nominated Lucy's sister, Stacy. And today, I'm here for Lucy. Both Stacy and Lucy are excellent Chinese students. Lucy always does outstanding job work, on her Chinese assignments and quizzes. And she is a talented language learner who continually comes into the class with a positive attitude. She participates in all classroom activities. She constantly helps her groups to explore the Chinese language and culture. Lucy and Stacy help each other in Chinese class, right? And they certainly bring a positive energy to our Chinese class. Lucy is not only brilliant in learning Chinese, but is also never afraid of challenge. She's a member of debate team, math team, and National Honor Society. Lucy knows what she wants and keeps pursuing it consistently. I believe that's why she's a very successful student, right? Actually, here, I would like to share a story about Lucy. Last summer, Dr. Scott and we accompanied a group of students from China and our Chinese students to visit Chicago. Lucy's mother went there with us too. We had a great time, but that day was very hot. So Lucy was the only one student who bought not only buy some beverage, drinks for herself, but also for her mom. Oh, yeah. The Mother's Day is coming soon. I hope that, Lucy's mother and every mom here have a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. And I congratulate Lucy for being a great role model, and I appreciate her efforts in making my class and our community a better one. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucy. In September.
I know. I was telling Lucy it's a shame we're having 6 students come from China next semester, that she won't be here to meet them and take them under her wing. You would have been a great role model for them as well. Next we have Mr. Schaefer, and he's introducing Hannah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Hi, everyone. So I have the privilege of talking about Hannah Zerwas today, and there's really so many good things to say about Hannah. It's really hard to figure out where to start. The little blurb I wrote, of course, she's a very talented student, and there's anybody who's had her in class knows how gifted she is. I have to tell you, though, that probably one of the more outstanding things about her is that she can be a part-time student and still get all the work done. I mean, Hannah has gone, 6 college visits? 6 college visits at the beginning of the semester. So I think that might be the trivia question in our next test in class. But the thing about Hannah is that she comes up before she leaves, and what do I have to do? She's got it all done before she even leaves, and it's all perfectly done. So, I mean, it's amazing. And it's May right now. The teachers are having a hard time finishing out the school year. And I have a role model in my class, makes me want to come every day and work as hard as possible just to keep up with her, because she's amazing. And she's going to college at Clemson on a rowing scholarship next year, so she's also a very talented athlete. And I've never known anyone who's gone on a college scholarship for rowing. So I feel cool just by association. And so really, and she smiles at my jokes once in a while, which is really good. But Hannah's got a great attitude. She's a really good speaker as well. We did presentations. She's very smooth giving her presentations. She took the AP calculus test yesterday, and I was cringing in pain just listening to that. And she's got many, many gifts and talents, all of which make our class so much better because she's there. And it's been a pleasure to have her in class this year. And thanks a lot for laughing at my jokes once in a while. I appreciate that. So thanks, Hannah. You're amazing.
Where did you start rowing? What? Yeah. December. Oh, just recently. Oh my goodness. It must just be the natural talent. It's funny because I hired a science teacher last week who went to on a college scholarship rowing. Too bad you won't get to meet her because she's not coming until next year. But that's really cool. Next we have the dynamic duo of Mr. Gore and Mr. Carnstead, and they're introducing Tanner.
All right. Well, hi. I'm Mr. Gore. That's Mr. Carnstead. And we're very happy to have Tanner up here with us. We have a chance to go over a lot of students. And when we nominate students for music for Student of the Month, we go through and we talk with the other colleagues in our department and figure out who's the guy who's the girl this month, who's the guy this month, who do we want to nominate for which reasons. And it was interesting because we talk, a lot of times the discussion centers around our all-state kids or our first chair kids or the best musicians in our program. And Tanner is up here not because he's one of the best musicians in our program. And I think this is an important thing. He's just one of the best guys in our program. You know, he's not in our wind ensemble. He's not our all-stater, but he's just a guy you would want to have in class every single day. My son was here last week for the Take Your Child to Work Day, and Tanner happened to be in his first hour creative writing class with him, and he was sitting with him and working. Tanner's going to be a journalist next year, going to Missouri, study sports journalism, and Tanner was there. Work with him, and I thought, oh, good. I walked past and saw him, and I saw Tanner in there. I'm like, that's great. Owen working with him in first hour. That's who I want working with my kid. And he's just an all around great guy. We always, when we take the football team in with the marching band at the start, the drum line goes around and makes the tunnel. And I would always make Mr. Karnstedt go with all the rest of the band to put them in their seats. And I'd go line up with the football team in the tunnel. And every time as we're coming in, Tanner, I got the fist bump as Tanner was heading out onto the field. And it was great for me. It was a really cool way to start off my football game every day. Nothing to him, but a lot to us. So a really great guy. I'll let Mr. K say.
Yeah, well, you already covered a lot of those things. One thing I really like about Tanner, as you mentioned, he's in our symphonic band, which Mr. Gore and I team teach, and we don't have a lot of seniors in that band. We have 3 of them. A lot of the members of that band are freshmen and sophomores, but Tanner, with the other seniors in there, but especially Tanner, provides a really great role model for those young students. In just how to work in class and how to, do band for what that's worth. He comes in, he does the work every day. He practices for his playing tests. He shows up on time. All those things that, might not get you, a high mark or whatever, but for us, that's the most valuable thing. That's the life skills that he clearly has and can help his younger students kind of get through it. So congratulations, Tanner. Definitely earned it, and thanks.
When I see that on a resume that a candidate was in the band, I always think of all the positive leadership, and I never ask them to play or what they played. I want that guy. That's what I want too. So what you said is so true. That's the most important thing. Next, we have Mr. Jones, and he's introducing Emily.
Thank you. Emily is a student in my first period. Now that's going to be a theme here. First period, advanced algebra with trig and stats. And Emily has a lot of great qualities. She's hardworking. She pays attention to detail. She's responsible, and she has a great skill. She's a great listener. I know that's a huge skill. And so, because every time in class, it's first period, remind you, I try to get students to recall things from the previous day, and Emily's right on top of it all the time. I'm like, put your listening ears on, do that kind of stuff, and she's ready to go. But you know what? All the qualities I just talked about aren't why she's a student of the month. For me, as a teacher and a coach, the big thing that she has that I really appreciate is she's consistent. I know day in and day out when she comes to the classroom, she's going to give her best effort. And I really, really appreciate that. And I think that's something we can celebrate more in all of our students because being consistent is going to lead to being successful. The other thing that 7:30 in the morning is, this is primarily a senior class, and you would agree they're not all that awake at 7:30 in the morning, especially math class, 7:30 in the morning. But Emily comes to class every day, and I think the only 2 people really ready, raring to go in class are me and Emily. Because seriously, she's awake, she's in tune to exactly what's going on in class, and it's just really impressive. And you know what, I just got to say really kind of in closing is that it's really been, fun for me to start my day with you in my class. Yeah.
No splitting the pizza. Next we have Mr. Thomas, and he's introducing Elizabeth.
Unlike Mr. Thompson, I'm having a great hair day, so I'm totally prepared for today. I get to start, well, I'll actually share, today I started my day. My first class of the day was speech class, and the moderator for the day asked for a volunteer, and of course Libby volunteered saying she would go first, of course. And as she continued on giving her persuasive speech, as I listened, I knew that once again she was setting the bar for her peers, being another example for the rest of the class of what it means to not only prepare yourself for your speech, but really make it so that way the design and the delivery of the speech is really interesting to listen to. And as I look around the room, I see other speech students from the past that are in the room and know the difference between listening to a peer who has put in the effort to make it a good experience and someone who hasn't. So she definitely does that consistently in and out throughout the class. I just ended my day with my last class with my acting studio class, in which Libby, once again, she gets me twice a day, was able to not only put her all into the scene work that we were doing. We actually have a show we're opening tonight for our studio class. They've practiced all semester long throughout just their class period on a production that they're going to put on, and not only have they taken all the roles, but they've also taken on all the production roles as well. So Libby has done all of the backstage work as well as all the onstage work, taking the ownership of a lead character role in Shakespeare and learning not only all those words and all those lines, but how to truly emote them on stage as well, which is a challenge in of itself. So although that's a theater thing, as an English teacher, the fact that Libby loves words so much and that she's able to make them not only sound beautiful, but in her ways of being come alive is really a reason why I nominated her for this award. Libby is someone who I can always count on as well. When we finished our rehearsal today, I signed general jobs and I turned around and Libby was on the ground in her dress with a black paintbrush in her hand, finishing painting part of our set that needed done. We made sure that she got it off of her knee before she came up here. Libby's also shared with me that she has a passion that in her future vocation, she's going to become a teacher, and specifically an English teacher. I know that this is something that's been heavily influenced by her mom, but also because she is someone who has such passion for the humanities, and I know that her future students will be lucky because she, being the person that she's standing in front of me today, will employ and exhibit so many of those personality traits that we see in her. And she'll be a great person that one day, instead of calling her a student, I'll be able to call my colleague. Congratulations.
That you get your student of the month twice a day, right? Now, would anyone like to follow the speech teacher in giving the press? It's you, Mrs. Angelos, with Mr. Leica. And you're introducing Colin.
Lucky us. And given that we're following Mr. Thomas, I feel some pressure to continue the great hair joke, punchline. This is a choice. How about that? I always watch the students when their teachers are up here bragging about them, and just the humility that's displayed here just is very touching to me, that it's as important to them as it is to the teachers who get to talk about them. Kelly, Mrs. Angelos, and I we had the pressure of choosing amongst 500-ish seniors from the LST to nominate someone in the final Student of the Month to walk out of the building with this distinction. And as we talked, and many of the students we were thinking of are here as well. But it struck both of us that, Colin was a student who spent less time than most here, and that he transferred to Libertyville High School, not an easy thing to do. And I remember talking on his first day of school, like, hey, let us know if you need to know where to go. And he seemed to have it figured out from day one. And I think he has that face that he knows where he's going, even though in his mind there's a lot of things churning. And that's what really strikes us, I think, about Colin, is that he's a deep thinker, a man of character, has a lot of depth to him that we get to hear in conversations when we're talking about things that are very much bigger picture ideas. And it's exciting for us to send off someone like Colin into the world that, as much as his perspective may sometimes get lost day to day in the high school environment where maturity is just, it is what it is. He has a sense about him that is going to carry him just to the ends of the world. And his future career in nursing is a perfect fit for him to take his gifts of listening, compassion, humility, and other things to people in need, but also to places and people that are going to cherish that gift that you bring. So we're so excited to nominate you for this honor, and thank you for bringing that every single day. Don't ever stop.
Thank you. I'll just say, I'm just gonna read what I wrote for you because I really think that you're incredibly courageous, and I didn't focus on that as much as how much you make me smile. You crack me up. Every single time I see Colin, he's so animated and quick-witted, and he makes a joke, and he can make me belly laugh on a Monday morning, and I just so appreciate being surrounded by people like you, our silly banter. You are empathetic and caring and loving, and you share that and try to push that out into the world. And I know that you also hope that that comes back to you, but when it doesn't, you know what? You think about it and you process it, and that's something that as a counselor and a social worker, we see maturity in and courage in. Your positive energy, I feel like, has broken down some barriers for people, and we just need more of that in this world right now. And so thank you for being communicative, and I imagine you as a nurse, and your charm just making some old lady take her pills, but then she will demand another song, and then you'll throw out the jazz hands and sing a song for her or something. That's just what I imagine. But keep smiling and keep sticking up for the underdog and keep doing you because you're fantastic. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
You're the first guy to leave the pizza behind. And that you be you is such a powerful message that goes to all of us, right? Next, we have Mrs. Price and Mrs. Kinney introducing Charlie. Come on up.
Wow. Charlie, Mrs. Price, I feel so privileged to nominate you for Student of the Month. We've both known you for 4 years, and you've had a really positive impact on both of us. And we're not the only ones. Look around this room. There are a lot of people here who are cheering for you today. Not only is your mom here today, but a lot of good friends. Charlie, that is one of your many strengths. You know how to be a friend to those who really need one. Charlie, we really appreciate your enthusiasm and zest for life, your voice in the hall. It means a lot. You have helped us all enjoy life a bit more. Charlie, you are resilient. You can bounce back when you hit a bump in the road. You are an overcomer. You have learned to overcome many challenges. You have learned to take responsibility for your work here at school and in your after-school job also. You are service-oriented. You love to serve others. Just last week, you saw a need of another student in my office who had lost her lit folder and needed to reprint her paper. You stopped immediately what you were doing and walked her to the drop-in lab. You will definitely be missed, and we wish you all the best as you go into college next year.
It was a short time ago when I was asked to write a college recommendation for Charlie. I said, that'll be the easiest one I ever write. I know him so well, and I have so many wonderful things to say about him. So shortly after that, I learned that Charlie had never been nominated for the Student of the Month. I thought, that can't be. And I checked with Miss Kinney, and she said, no, it's true. I said, well, I think we should do that. I had shared my college recommendation with her. She agreed with everything I said. And I have decided that I'm going to read one paragraph out of that entire letter that I wrote, because it's my favorite paragraph. And I think it says the most important thing about Charlie. So here we are. And I changed the I to we because it's really both of us nominating Charlie. So, we have known Charlie for 4 years. We have seen many changes over the last 4 years, which are very impressive. These include improvements in academics, skills, and participation in school activities. All of these changes are admirable and signs of growth and improvement. However, the one area which he hasn't changed that is the most admirable is his kindness. No matter what a person brings to the table, physically, mentally, emotionally, or socially, Charlie is accepting. He doesn't go around preaching this, but instead he indicates it through his actions, behaviors, and words. He is aware and observant of his surroundings and anticipates the needs of others. He offers help like it is air. There is never an expectation of recognition or an anticipation of appreciation. He simply sees a need and addresses it. Respect and courtesy are a foregone conclusion where Charlie is concerned. For example, if a student is having difficulty getting his coat off and his hat off, Charlie will just help him and then put the items where they belong. There will be no discussion about it. He just does it. Another example is in the classroom. If the room is rearranged when the class enters, Charlie will notice and immediately begin rearranging the furniture so the physically handicapped students can access their desks. It's a huge help to me. His compassion is perhaps his greatest strength. Hopefully, Charlie's future career choice will allow him to use this great quality on a regular basis. Congratulations, Charlie, student. You certainly deserve to be Student of the Month. Can you get us all? 1, 2, 3. One more. Congratulations, Charlie. Very nice. Left belongings.
Charlie, I think you were the first student I saw this morning when you had Mr. Akers in that tight embrace. Do you remember that? But Mrs. Ulick was telling me that when she brought you into her office to tell you that you were Student of the Month, you had quite a cool reaction. Do you remember what that was?
No. I was like, wait. When I first got into the office, I was like, am I in trouble?
She said you thought you were in trouble for speaking too loud in class, and she said, no one gets in trouble in the activities office. You are Student of the Month, and she said, then you let up a loud woo. So that's what I was hoping to see from you. But that was such a cool reaction. And I think it's fun to let students know, too, isn't it? That's a cool job to have. Next, we have Ms. Grossman, and she's introducing Eric.
I don't know the last time I spoke with a microphone, so hopefully it's the last time. So I'm going to read mostly from my script because my older brothers have told me that when I don't, I start to ramble, and I don't want to put you guys through that. So this is my first year here at Libertyville. Before that, I was at a middle school for about 11 years. And so I remember from day one, Eric was always so kind, and I feel like I've had such a tremendous pleasure getting to know him this year. Every single day he'd walk in, he was on the go, ready to get something done. And if I had something else I needed him to get done, as much as it looked like he had something else on his mind, he was always so kind. Oh, that's fine, don't worry about it. Of course I could do that. There's so many words that I could use to explain Eric. So some of them, his friendly nature, strong work ethic, perseverance, and great attitude are some of the things that I feel set him apart from the rest of some other peers, as well as his willingness to try new things academically. And I really enjoyed being a part of watching Eric problem solve, to be the best learner he could be for himself, and to prepare himself for his future. Eric works hard for the grades that he earns, and I wish every student could have the diligence and perseverance that Eric exhibits. And if you've been lucky enough to know Eric, you know that he is a very loyal and honest young man, and he's just wonderful. So, Eric, I hope you continue to accept yourself, learn about what works for you, advocate for yourself, and keep pushing yourself to excel. Congrats.
I feel like just being here, you want all these great traits to rub off on you, right? That's for sure. Now, Mr. Kelch, somehow you got 2 nominations here. I don't know how that got by me, but you can come up here and introduce Amy and Alyssa.
I don't know what I was thinking, but Amy was arguing with me a moment ago that no, she had my class for 8 semesters, and Alyssa had it for 6, so make sure you say it right first and not the other way around. All right, fine. So that's 14 semesters at Kelch, which is a lot. So I would, yeah. So normally I wing this and I go off the cuff, but I've had these 2 young ladies in class as long as I have, and so I actually needed to prepare because it just calls for it. There is a general assumption that gender plays a role in what and where everyone lands in life. For the most part, that is true. However, every once in a while, someone unique comes along and changes those perceived social norms. To have 2 of these individuals is something special. For the last 4 years, I've had the privilege, and I emphasize privilege, of teaching 2 young women who I have watched grow from being shy teenagers who just hoped no one noticed that they were freshmen, to 2 confident young women who are bold and willing to try anything. They have never let being the gender minority among their peers influence what role they were to play in class. They readily accepted the position of leader, foreman, and chief. They never allowed the day-to-day challenges of their personal lives to dictate the level of commitment they had for their craft. They came to class every day ready to lead, delegate, and perform. One day, when this middle-aged teacher is much more middle-aged, and most of his student recollections are shadowy memories, there will be 2 individuals who stand out clearly above the rest. This is one of my proudest days as a teacher in which I'm able to declare without a doubt or hesitation that these 2 young women have a future brighter than they know. Finally, as we were asked by the powers that be to decide of a student of the month, I, unfortunately, cannot do so in good conscience. I can only say that these 2 young women, from my perspective, are deserving of Students of the Year. I should have prefaced, yes, I teach auto shop and wood shop. So as you can imagine, it's mostly a male world, and these 2 young ladies have gone against the grain, no pun intended, but it's been fantastic. Yes.
I was picturing one of you lifting the car with one arm and the other changing the tire. Yeah. Thank you. Had I heard that speech, I would have said yes to 2, of course. They're wonderful. Last but not least, we have Mrs. Stevens and her student, is not here, but she'll explain why. And because we're able to tape it on a DVD, she'll get to see it anyway, right? Yeah, that's so special.
So the LST was asked, who would you recommend? And unanimously, our Q through Z LST would like to recognize Kelsey Zeminski. She's just a special person. Kelsey's an outstanding, mature, fun young lady. She is focused. She works hard at everything she encounters. This past year has been more difficult due to having medical issues. We all in the LST wish we could handle all Kelsey has had to endure with such grace, never complaining, always smiling, being kind and caring to others, while not feeling well for at least 1 week out of every month. Academically, she has pushed forward. This August, Kelsey will be attending the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. We hope when she comes back to visit us, we wish her very well and hope soon, very soon, that she feels like herself again. And all I can say to Kelsey is, go Crimson Tide. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and I think I underestimated the power of today's comments. Thank you for your heartfelt comments. If we could have all the students in the front for a picture. It's not a good time to leave anyway. You don't want to be in the parking lot right now.